Hello, Barbara. This is Dave from ChiefTutor.com. Thanks for sending in your plan file. Now I think I understand a little bit more of the difficulty that you're having. So you were trying to make a custom hood, which is absolutely exactly what Chief says. Hey, you can make custom anything in our program. Well, I mean, they try, right? They try. And you probably can once you master their plan a little bit further. I was noticing this kitchen. The first thing I wanted to kind of say is good job. In fact, great job. Look, you even vaulted the ceilings in here, add some skylights, vaulted the ceiling over here. I mean, you're really going to town on this kitchen. It is really looking good. So, by the way, kudos. Good job. Okay, so let's see if I can help you with this hood. First thing you want to do is always search the database, see if there's a hood similar to what you're trying to do. Because that's usually the best way to start. And you can always add different pieces, much like you did here. Because I noticed like you have a slope here, a slope here, a slope there. You got a ceiling piece, a base piece. I mean, you got tons of pieces making up this hood. So there's a lot of work that maybe you didn't have to do so much of. And if there's something similar in there that you can use that might work, feel free to start off with something like that. What I would do if I had to build this from scratch is knowing that you want the thing to slope down like this, kind of at an angle, kind of curves down and then goes flat, curves down and goes flat on all three sides. Is that reminds me a lot of a roof plane. And so I would build it using roof planes because why not? We can use anything we want, right? So there's your plan from the outside. Let's go here to the inside and zoom in a bit. And I'm going to go to your roof tools. And I'm just going to start to build a roof. I'm going to hold down left mouse click, hold that down, drag down, let go, and then head towards this direction, towards the left. And it says your roof plane layers are not being displayed. Do you want to display them? And you click yes. And there I've created a roof plane. And you can kind of see it off in the distance there. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that same roof plane. I know this is the lower end of the roof. And I'm just going to click here and drag up. And then click here and drag up. And there I've made a bunch of roof planes. And they're not behaving exactly the way I want, but they are behaving exactly how Chief meant them to behave. So they're all starting off from one corner, which is nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge here and I'm going to select that edge and I want to connect it to this edge of this roof plane. So I can use the conjoin tool, which looks like if I click on this and I go here, it's right here. But it's also a hotkey number 2. So from now on, I'm just going to use the hotkey number 2 on my keyboard. So I select one edge, hit number 2, click there. Select one edge, hit number 2, and click there. If we go back to the camera, we can see we've combined the roof planes a little bit better. Now let's stop them where we want to stop them. Let's stop them about there and about there. That seems about right. And then we'll try to stop that one right on there. And that seems good. Okay. Now let's go to the 3D and start modifying this more towards what we need. Because we want it curved. We don't necessarily need these roof caps and we don't necessarily need this gutter. So I'm going to select all three by clicking the first one, holding down shift and clicking the other two, opening them up. And I'm going to change the pitch to more like 15 degrees. Or maybe 12. Maybe 15 was too much. It's the pitch at which you're going for. So I'm going to say 12. That 12 is fine. And I'm going to go down to gutters and I say I don't need the gutters anymore. And I'm going to go to the ridge caps and I delete those. I don't need those anymore. So let's just stop and see kind of what we've got. And if I look at the 3D, I could see here's what I got. Now this one fell lower than that one, but that's okay. We're going to correct it. So since the other two are connecting perfectly, I'm going to double click this and notice that my 97 and 5/16, I'm going to copy it. That's the lowest point the roof should go. So I'm going to lock 12 and paste in that 97 and it'll adjust it up nicely. So if it does fall apart, you can reconnect it for you. Now, the thing we need is for it to be kind of concaved or curved, right? So let's do that. I'm going to select all three, open them up, And I'm going to hit curve roof and click OK. And I don't really care what the percentage is or what it wants to do or how much it's curving. I just want to see what it does. And there it goes. And it curved the roof planes. Now it's not curving in the area or the direction in which I want, right? So let's go in there and select all three again, open them up. And in curved roof, why don't we change the angle to 30 degrees? And now we see it's a little bit more common to what we're after. And we can also use our eyedropper, pick up the white, and apply all three sides. Because now we're getting to be more and more like the symbol we need. We might need a wider top, so I could cut this back. We might want a thinner top or just use a square right there. Maybe that's a good enough swoop, or maybe you want it a little bit bigger. So we can do it all different ways. We can play with it. Like, let's say I brought it back to like 25 there, right? And I connect that, and I connect that, and I connect that. And then I go back here and I say, oh, that's good, but I want to go higher. So I can just change the pitch. So I'm going to click all three again, open it up, and why don't we change it now to like 18? So now it's going up a little higher. And again, we might have to readjust. It looked like that lost its 97 and 5/16 point that it lost here and there. But we can start to shape this sucker in the way we want it to shape. And what's great about Chief is once you get it kind of where you want it, I'm going to go a little further up. Something like that. And let's say, okay, this is kind of where I want to go. I can hit number 2 on the keyboard and connect that edge tight to that edge, making sure it all kind of flows. Let's say this edge, hit number 2 and connect to that edge. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this edge, hitting number 2 and connecting to that edge. And again, the same here and there. And that way the connection's nice and tight. I'm also going to turn off, let's see here. I want to turn off the thickness of my lines and my dimension tool. Because I want to zoom in here and see, okay, this is not getting exactly where I want it to be. It needs to go to there. And try to get that sucker nice and tight. The Chief's thinking it might have even crashed. So sometimes dealing with the curved roofs, it gets a little confused. So we're going to give it a second here to kind of work itself out. And yeah, it had some sort of really bad error. Okay, so I'm just going to go back and back and back. Okay, and I'm going to double click this. 97.5 is where it should be. This one, 97.5. That seems to be the new spot. So here, 97.5, I'm good with an 18 pitch. I'm going to take that edge, hit number 2 to that edge, see if it doesn't fix it a little nicer. Okay, that's kind of what we're after right there. And what's great about this now is you can take all three of these roof planes, copy them, go into a brand new plan, hit paste, paste it down. Again, the brand new plan doesn't have roof plane layers turned on, so I'm going to turn it on. Then I'm going to go to my 3D view for this guy, and I'm going to go here to Tools, go down to Symbol, and say Convert this to a symbol. And so I know what it's going to be called. I'm going to call it a kitchen hood angle. And it'll save it into my computer program just as that, a symbol. Now in the symbol, if I go back to the original plan, I have this selected. I could bring it in. Now it's huge, so it's saying, hey, are you sure you want to bring it in? It's a huge, massive thing. So you don't necessarily need to worry about the size because you can double click it. You can say retain aspect ratio. I don't want the width to be any more than say 36. So it kind of shrinks the whole thing down for us. So now we can see, and if I lift it up, because I think it's down here on the ground, I'll lift it up to roughly where the ceiling is. So we can kind of see what we've done here. We've made a nice clean symbol that goes all the way around with the roof planes, and it's now saved as an item. So if I do need to stretch it or move it or shrink it or do any type of resizing, it should resize accordingly and keep that shape to where you want it to go. And that's basically how I would do that curved sloped roof hoodie that you're trying to do. And I'll go ahead and save this plan file and save this symbol in the plan for yours. And you can do with it as you will, or you can create your own and manipulate it all you want. And hopefully you learn something new. And this time when you add crown molding at the top and a base around the edge, it should be a lot simpler than the time before with all that hard work. But you did phenomenal work in this kitchen. It's just beautiful kitchen. So great job. Great, great job. All right. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks so much for sending in your plan.